Today we're learning chevron stitch. You'll need 3 strands of thread, just tie a knot in the end and trim off the excess. So, along the line to be stitched at the bottom, just come up through the fabric and stitch a straight stitch. Mine's probably just over 1/2 centimetre, I think. You could play around with this a little bit. Now we're going to come up through the middle of that stitch, but without piercing the thread in any way. Okay, so you need the working thread at the top of that stitch there. So now move your needle diagonally upwards and to the right. And then we're going to use the sewing method to move to the left. And you're going to go through the fabric sort of half the length of that stitch. So take your time, just getting that right there. So you can see that's roughly half of this first straight stitch that I did. So now I'm going to pull through. Oops, there we go. Now going to move over to the other side, making sure that you're making a stitch that's the same size or roughly similar. Now you can use the sewing method if you like to come back up at the middle, but I always find that it takes me ages and I just end up getting it in the wrong place. So I usually end up using the stitching method to just come back through at the top of that diagonal, and then when you pull it through, you're right where you need to be. So it's entirely up to you, it's just personal preference really. Now I want this chevron to be nice and balanced, so I'm just going to move the working thread so that I can work out where I need to be. We're going to repeat that. So again, working to the left, sort of half a stitch-ish, that first straight stitch that we did. Move over to the right. You can use the sewing method here if you want. I'm just going to use the stitching method or stabbing method. There we go. And then you basically just repeat that along the line for as long as you need to, until your pattern is complete. So it just takes you a little while to get your head around what you're doing with the bits at the top, but once you've done a complete chevron and you get into the groove with it, you'll be absolutely fine. Now to finish off, I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to put this stitch in over the top because I want to make sure that it's all exactly the right size, but feel free to use the sewing method if you prefer. There we go. That's chevron stitch.